Now that Warner Brothers has taken the first step towards a cinematic universe with Man of Steel, and we know Batman will make an appearance in the sequel, it's safe to say a Justice League film will probably be just around the corner. But it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen the DC All-Stars come together in a live-action extravaganza. There of course was Legends of the Superheroes from the late 70s, starring Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin, along with other A-list heroes like Hawkman, the elderly Scarlet Cyclone, and everyone's favorite, Kiddo Man?
A few years ago, the NAACP asked you guys to integrate. And I'm sorry, but we don't feel the Green Lantern qualifies as colored people.
It wasn't until 1997 when broadcasters took a chance on another Justice League project, and what we got, well, it's not that good. The viewing public never got to enjoy the CBS TV pilot featuring Green Lantern, Flash, Atom, Fire, and the Martian Manhunter. If it hadn't been for the bootleggers at cons and the torrent sites, this abomination probably would have never made the light of day. Just in case you're thinking about watching this piece of dreck, produced by people who had probably never opened a comic book in their lives, don't. Just stop. Don't do this to yourself. You don't deserve it. Instead, let me take a few minutes and sum it all up for you. Let's talk the Justice League TV pilot. Ah, 1997. It was a simpler time back then, when Hanson ruled the radio waves, kids played with pogs, and a sitcom featuring 6 attractive people sitting around the living room was considered funny. Now, I'm not really sure why 1997 seemed like a good time to launch a new TV show about superheroes. Frankly, it was a low point for comics creatively. Superman was turned into an electronic being that zaps around, DC and Marvel combined some of their top heroes into the pages of Amalgam, mostly to ghastly results, and moviegoers were treated to the creative abortion that is Batman and Robin. The Justice League pilot seems to follow these same ghastly trends by mushing together characters into bland representations from the comics, hamming up the jokes at every opportunity.
You gotta fix the TV, hurry up, we're gonna miss Touched by an Angel.
And trying to make it appeal to the lowest common denominator.
You get to eat as much as you want. Are you at the Institute?
Are you kidding? What, do I look like I'm from the Institute? No, I'm actually a visiting scientist. Yeah, archaeologist.
I really should be going.
Hey, well, nice meeting you. If anything comes up, call me.
The plot. It takes place in New Metro, a city that is as bland as its name. The weatherman threatens the city with a series of horrific storms. He continually demands a ransom from the citizens of New Metro, but they don't really have any reason to pay him considering every time a storm's unleashed, the Justice League step in to save the day. It's almost comical.
Oh, thank you, Green Lantern.
Just get him someplace safe.
The Justice League members are just everyday people with stupid, everyday problems.
Look, I know I'm behind on the rent, but come on, I just lost my job.
Who also happen to have superpowers and live in the same house together. We get to know them through a series of candid interviews that run throughout the movie, but who are they talking to? We never seem to find out. Ultimately, though, it never really matters, as each of these brief interview segments just seem to be there to fill time.
Every time I get to the point where I might be able to commit to a woman, something happens and takes that opportunity away. And they don't understand, and it's very hard for me to get through to them that I have obligations, and I have to save people. Yeah. But, how do you tell them that?
Oh, that's awful. Back to the weatherman. The Justice League believes whoever is unleashing these storms probably has some connection with the weather research facility in town. Miguel Ferrer heads up the lab, and we know he's not the weatherman because Miguel Ferrer never plays the bad guy on TV shows or movies, right? Right? His right-hand lady also happens to have a freak lab accident, and she gets the power to freeze stuff, although she can't really control it. The rest of the movie, we see members of the Justice League crash a party, get stalked by David Krumholtz.
I do know that you're between boyfriends now, and sometimes you get lonely.
Awkwardly sing opera. Prepare and eat dinner, save a cat, audition to play a fruit, and try to repair a TV. Thrilling stuff, huh? Oh, and they recruit another member to the team and give her a very creative superhero name.
Phoebe thought maybe you could call yourself Ice.
What makes this movie truly awful is the terrible balance between comic book drama and sitcom humor. It feels like at any minute the producers could whip out a laugh track.
No, I don't know why I bothered telling you any of this stuff, because you and I, we never agreed on anything.
Which one?
That one.
Or go into the opposite direction and launch into a deep monologue about superhero ethics.
You've made an incredible discovery here. You should be sharing it with the world, not using it against it.
Pick a tone, people. The tone stays just light and bubbly enough to assure you that no one will die and everything will work out okay. Because of this, there simply isn't any reason to care about the plot. If they had decided to go completely humorous with the tone like the old Batman TV show, or slightly darker and more serious like CBS's Flash TV series, it would have been easier to latch onto the characters and care about the plot. And let's talk about those characters. They are grating for the most part. First we have Guy Gardner. Why they called him Guy Gardner, I have no idea. Outside of the style of the Green Lantern vest he wears, there simply isn't any resemblance to his comic book counterpart. He looks more like Kyle Rayner and has the bland personality of Hal Jordan from the Super Friends. How they settled on this version of our beloved Emerald Guardian, I'll never know.
Good work, Flash.
Thanks. Who do we save next?
Then we have the Flash. We get it, you're fast.
You don't suppose Dr. Eno's at his house, do you?
Well, it's not likely, but I can check.
Would you?
Sure.
Great.
Nah, looks like you cleared out.
There's also the beautiful Fire. She has this subplot involving a boyfriend, but it simply makes no sense. They have absolutely no charisma together, making all their scenes feel more creepy than romantic.
You're only as old as you feel.
Uh-huh.
And right now, I'm feeling pretty old.
Adam kind of worked for me. He's the brains of the group and he can shrink himself. I do like how his costume covered up his lack of physicality, but he also has a weird and awkward romance with Ice that simply doesn't work.
Hey, you wanna catch some lunch?
Yeah, I would like that.
Perhaps the strangest addition to the group is David Ogden Stiers as the Martian Manhunter. The guy who played Dr. Winchester on MASH is supposed to look like this?
Look, I'm very flattered, but I just want my old life back.
It's no longer there, Tori. You are completely different now from everyone else.
Except for us.
What seems like a curse can become a gift.
He does have the voice for the role though, and the facial makeup works to an extent, but every scene he appears in has to be strangely lit to cover up his girth and the lack of a costume below the neck. For me, his performance worked the best, somehow blending the show's cheesiness together with an extraterrestrial bravado. The scenes where he appears in, well, those are the best of the show. If this pilot had gone to series, I imagine we would have had a villain of the week setup combined with silly romantic plots, more sitcomish humor, and it probably would have been canceled by episode 6. Thank goodness CBS passed on this one. Batman and Robin did enough damage to the superhero genre in 1997. But those are just my thoughts on the Justice League TV pilot. What are yours? You can leave your comments below or hit me up on Twitter, and keep checking in with ain'titcool.com for more news and reviews. I'm John Airy.
Dr. Reno, the weather manipulator.
Why should I give it to you? It's not bad.
I can't stop the wave.